Station and address the conclave.
Good afternoon. Distinguished panelists on the dais and the distinguished speakers. I have made a very simple, small presentation because from the first session now we are moving to the power panel session, and in the contents, as you can see, I have generally given just 5-6 slides. One is about general power sector. Second is about, let me see how does it move. Yeah. Evolution of power market. Third one is power market intervention. Then what is the status of the open access in the country as on today? What are the trends in the power market? Which are the new products which are there or which we are trying to introduce in the power market, and the challenges faced by the power sector. This gives you just a synopsis. Total installed capacity more than 300 gigawatt, and renewable installed capacity is already now 44 gigawatt. So if you are just seeing in the circle which I have shown, 14% is now renewable, almost equivalent to 14% of hydro. More than 61% is still the thermal, and rest is nuclear and gas and this thing. So the one interesting thing is the capacity now is 42% owned by private sector, which is a complete departure. I mean, Mr. Anil Rajdan, who is also in my board also, he was the Secretary Power, and that is the time the transition was taking place. More and more private sector investment we are being invited, because we could create a power market, and we can see the result, 42% now owned by private sector. And the renewable sector, the right side, which accounts for today 44 gigawatt, almost it is entirely owned by IPPs. So these are the 2 points I just wanted to emphasize. Then I'll go to the next slide. This is the power supply position. As earlier speakers have already talked, the average PLF is falling marginally, largely on account of increases in capacity and continued structural problems in the sector. One is macro, weak industrial demand, it is not yet catching up. And the second one, well known, is a stressed financial situation of DISCOMs. So, inability of the sector to identify, crystallize and address the latent demand, which is also estimated, what Mr. Rajdan was talking about, diesel generating sector, etc., 40-50,000 megawatt of capacity lying, which should be really removed as fast as possible. And I've just touched upon the Uday scheme, which has come to improve the revival of the DISCOMs, and we can look at the impact and assessment in this field. First one which has already been done is the debt restructuring. So far states have raised about 1 trillion rupees through Uday bonds till 31st March 16, and this will result obviously in reduction of the financing cost for the DISCOM and consequent fall of average cost of supply. But this was the easier part. The tougher part, which cannot be done in 6 months or so, is which can be done in medium term to long term, is the AT&C losses.